Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to the Sweetwater Minute. This time out, our own Nick DiVirgilio sits down for a drummer-to-drummer conversation with Nir Z. They discuss his jazz roots, his breakthrough recording with John Mayer on Room for Squares, and his use of Sonor's versatile drums. Check this out.
How you doing, everybody? Nick DiVirgilio here, and my very special guest in house today is Mr. Nir Z. Nir, welcome to Sweetwater.
My pleasure.
You're
Thank
here on
you
behalf
for having
of
me.
Yeah, pleasure here. You're here on behalf of Sonor Drums.
Yes, sir.
And it's your first time to Sweetwater, right?
It is, and I'm.
What do you think of our fair facility?
What is it to think? This is definitely one of the most amazing facilities I ever seen. I mean, I've been a customer for many years,
right?
Like many musicians all over, but this is really outstanding. From A to Z, every room, every person is just stunning. I don't think you can describe it. You need to visit.
You have to be here to see it.
You need
right,
to be here to really experience that. So
Very
really
cool.
Amazing.
Well, we're very excited to have you here. We're very excited to have
you.
Sonor
Yes.
under the Sweetwater roof now, being sold
Yep.
officially by Sweetwater. So we're all excited, and we'll talk about the drums in just a second. Let's talk about you for a second, because you know, Sweetwater, the drum business for this company has really taken off. And a lot of people are coming to our site now to learn about other artists such as yourself and the gear. So let's talk about you and your career a little bit first.
Right.
You come from Israel, correct?
Originally.
Yeah, and when did you
Yes.
start? When did you start playing drums?
Officially, I mean, studying pretty early. I was 12 years old.
Okay.
Great teacher back in Israel by the name of David Rich,
Okay.
which he was a student of the great Joe Morello.
Nice.
So
So
that was
technique from the very beginning.
my education through David. Things happened pretty fast over there, you know, after the service, which I had to. But I moved to New York City, which I guess you can do it once in your lifetime, you know, have the guts to, okay, I'm just going. New York City for almost 18 years.
Right.
So it's home,
Right.
really. And then Nashville, all
Nashville's
the way
your-
to Franklin, Tennessee.
Right. Nashville's your current home.
Yes, the last 6.5 years now.
Beautiful.
Yeah, almost 7.
And you've done a ton of studio work throughout your career.
Yes, sir.
And you have your own studio in Nashville as well. A lot of great gigs I've seen you on. We have a little bit of a history together,
Yes, we do.
which is really cool. I like the history.
Yeah.
Nir and myself both played on the Genesis record Calling All Stations.
Correct, 98.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh my God.
It went by fast, didn't it?
Like I said, in the 1900s.
Exactly.
Yeah, we played on the same record in the 1900s. That's amazing.
Right.
And here we are.
It's a good history to have,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
And so you played a little bit with John Mayer.
Yes, Room for Squares, his first record we did together back in New York.
Now, which one of these gigs kind of skyrocketed or started you in your studio career? I mean, was there one that got you started and kind of got the ball rolling for that part of your career?
You know, it's interesting. I thought about that, try to kind of analyze how things happen. As you know, you never know which gig going to lead you where,
Right.
but there was one artist, definitely still one of my favorites, named Alana Davis.
Yes.
I've done 3 or 4 records with Alana, and that's before John Mayer, and she definitely, the first record I did with her, I felt it really opened the door for me for some of those artists.
Sure.
And because a lot of people did listen to Alana, you know, a lot of musicians actually.
Sure.
Then of course Room for Squares was
Huge, yeah.
huge.
Right.
And this is the record that led me to Nashville.
Okay.
Nashville was never on my radar. So people, even though I moved there 6.5 years ago, but I came down there first time probably like 14 years ago, something like that. And the producer who brought me down he found out about me because of Room for Squares,
Okay.
you know, and the rest is history.
There you go.
You know, things just rolling and try to do the best on every gig you
course.
get, as you know.
So when you were a kid and playing, what was were you a rock and roller? Were you a jazzer? What kind of music
I was really into jazz also
Okay.
because my drum teacher, you know, was playing traditional grip all the time, and I thought, you know, that would be, but man, life, friends, more music I discover over the years, you know. just led me to where I am now, I guess.
Sure.
I never really thought about it, which I'm not sure if it was the right thing to do. I just kind of go with the flow.
There you go.
If the music is good, I enjoy it.
Right.
So I will go to, as a teenager, I will go and see every show that came to the country. It was VSOP, Tony Williams and Ron Carter will change my life when I saw them.
Sure.
That actually was a big change for me, because until that point, I was studying, and jazz is usually soft, mellow. And then I get to see Tony Williams, and it was just he blew my mind, like many other people all over the globe. But any band, anyone who came to play there, I just love music. So
Sure. Your technique. You studied jazz as a kid. You played traditional grip. I see how you set up your drum kit. You have your snare drum tilted forward a little bit. Your floor toms are even tilted away from the drum kit a little bit. How does your technique help you with today's pop music and the setup of those drums? Do you find that you need to change your setup at all, or you've been playing that way your whole career?
I played most of my career. I played like that.
Right.
I think as far as the floor toms and the snare, I sit relatively high.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
I know every time a drummer friend will sit behind my kit, he's always say, "Oh, it sits pretty high."
Right.
Like many others over the years, I tried different. You change, and we get older. You got to listen to your body.
For sure.
Young drummers out there, don't be in denial. If you feel something wrong, try to find what it is. And same with the snare. I still, even though probably this morning I played mostly match, many times I do play traditional.
Okay.
It feels different.
Sure.
But this particular setup allowed me to do both comfortable.
Great.
It's a personal thing, so it's not really right or wrong.
Cool.
I have one engineer friend that he claims that for some reason he claims the snare sounds better to him in the studio because it's facing down. But hey, it's fine with me.
It works, it works.
Yeah,
That's
it
great,
works,
yeah.
it works, exactly.
Well, let's get now to these fantastic drums.
Yes.
You've been a Sonor artist for a short time now.
Yes.
What do you think of these drums? Give us your opinion. That's a broad question,
It's
I know.
a big question.
But how are you finding these drums fit your career now, what you're doing in the studio and you're playing?
First, I think that every person who've heard those drums today, it's undeniable how good they sound. Now, even though we have 3 complete different drum kits set up here, we play them all. They are so versatile that I still discover and experimenting, with sound. If we'll start right over there behind you, there is an 8-inch tom and a 10-inch tom. That's been many years since I played those sizes, and they sound so much bigger than those sizes, And I'm sure you can still experiment with tuning, the SQ2, unbelievable. That's the Birch, the SQ1, which is a classic studio configuration, if you like.
Sure.
Because of the type of wood. There's one thing in general with the Sonor, it's the quality. Just the quality on every detail really thought out.
Sure.
And when I've met the guys from Germany, when I've met some of the guys from the company, it kind of was the final, okay, you sense there.
Sure.
There is really a big heart behind these amazing drums.
Yeah.
And still open-minded and still trying to make things better. So this is the new one, the newest kit, the SQ1. It's the Birch to play today, and there is the vintage, of course. That stunning looking kit.
That's great. Yeah.
Stunning looking kit, and again, I've been using this kit for quite a while now in different sessions, and don't mistake it. I mean, it's a vintage sounding kit, supposed to be, which it is, but it's so versatile.
Yeah, it works with all kinds of stuff.
Exactly, and that's an important note out there for all our drummers friends,
Sure.
that this kit you can tune high, low, medium. You can play heavy rock and roll with it, or you can play as finesse and as dynamic as you need to.
Sure.
So another thing I noticed that from a studio player perspective, they got this mechanism. You don't really lose tuning, and that's huge.
That's huge.
know,
Of course.
and I know how many times you play one more take and one more take and one more take, and you lose this sweet spot, and those drums just stay there, and that's huge.
The hardware on these kits, well, I love the Sonor hardware. I mean,
I was about
from the
to-
cymbal
right.
stands and the tom mounts, they're very unique and very easy to set up and sturdy and
Very
all of
much.
those things. So
Right.
that all couples together with the sound of it. I mean, it all comes
big
together
time.
as one thing, yeah.
Big time. I mean, there is the system. I don't know if the camera can see it on the SQ2 over there, which you can adjust.
Yep.
The suspension mount, actually. And this is the new revolutionary system here. That is just, to me, the simplicity is everything.
Sure.
I mean, you got two toms over here that you can actually you can set them up very close. And as we know, sometimes when you use two rack toms,
Sure.
with the rim and all that stuff, it becomes very difficult. You end up having like a 4 inches gap between. Yes, I mean, it's everything you want from a drum kit.
That's great.
Is there.
And they're beautiful. The finishes, they
Yes.
look really good.
Very much so. We get to see some of them here, but
There's a lot to choose from.
a lot to choose from.
That's
a
awesome.
lot to choose from.
So before we close off this interview here, what are you working on? What's your latest endeavors?
Latest, as we speak right now, I mean, actually, we're heading back to New York. I want to say back to New York. I'm sorry. We're heading back to Nashville because I'm starting a record tomorrow.
Okay.
I know who the producer, I do not know who the artist is. So
Could be anything.
I'll go with the flow.
Right.
He's actually from California, the producer, but I don't know who is producing, so I'm sure it will be fun. Still working on the Blake Shelton record as we
cool.
speak. We
Nice.
did a new one, and in the stage of, I did the drumming, now doing some percussion and programming.
Beautiful.
We all also audio gear gigs, as you guys can imagine, and we in gear heaven here. So this is what's going on right now this week, and hopefully
More to come.
we'll continue.
Well, thanks so much for being here.
Hey.
Thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
Pleasure.
And love the interview. It's great to kind of connect.
To catch up. We'll need to
And-
to catch up
and
again.
we'll do some
but,
playing together in the future for sure.
Exactly. We'll do
Thanks a lot, Nir.
some playing.
Thanks
Thank you.
a lot for watching, everybody.
Our thanks to Nir Z and Nick DiVirgilio for a great interview, and thank you for joining us for the Sweetwater Minute. I'm Mitch Gallagher.